So, let's say you have someone and you're questioning them. Why would they lie? Like when you ask a question, there's only two answers: truth or a lie. If someone says the truth, then they say the truth. But what if they lie? Why would they lie? They lie because they are worried of the consequences. So, for example, if a person, let's say a man, cheated on his wife, and she asked him, "Did you cheat?" in a straightforward way, why would he say no? Because he would be worried of the consequences, that she would know that he's not faithful. It's the same concept everywhere. Everywhere. It's the same concept. People lie because they are worried of the consequences of telling the truth. So, how do we make people tell the truth? One is by showing them the consequences of not telling the truth is worse. By torturing. That's one. Two, by making them, by reducing their worry, by reducing their worry of the consequences. And of course, this had been calculated before in the system, and they named it under influence. To prevent people from exposing themselves. That's why a drunk person would be more likely to tell the truth, because they wouldn't consider the consequences. In simple terms, is reducing their anxiety. So if you drug someone, you give them anti-anxiety medication. You give them a high dose. They are way more likely to tell the truth than when they are sober. It doesn't matter if that person is a CIA officer or the head of CIA or... That's one way to do it. Another way is to make the target trust you enough to share what they have in mind. So, for example, you could put them in an environment where they won't feel threatened. Like a bar, for example, or a hangout. And for them to say whatever they want to say. You need to mirror their thoughts. For example, if someone, I'm just going to give an example. If someone liked to rape kids and you put them in an environment where the whole environment is acting like that's what they like, then they are more likely to share their dark thoughts.